Guys, it looks like it wants to drop, I gotta tell you that. As you can see on the chart, the channel towards the upside is kind of curving towards the downside. It's kind of curving towards the, red line, the 20 moving average. The question is, when. It's not if, but I think it's, more question when it is going to drop towards the downside. And after that, I'm looking at some kind of lower targets on the downside. We are still in a bull market, start of the bull market. We've been in the bull market since June, technically, accumulation phase starting. But the big question is how much the pullback we're gonna have. In any kind of bull market, any kind of bullish trend, you gotta understand that any kind of dips are for buying, right? Any kind of dips are there, for buying. But right now, this looks like, unfortunately, it's gonna drop towards the downside. Now, before we start over here, what I want you to do is to notice that we just started with the Bybit shilling. There is a link down below, in the description. Of course, we gotta do what everybody else is doing. So there is that. We're gonna be doing a lot of trading. So that's the new style of the channel: trading, Bybit shilling, that kind of stuff. Besides that, the channel towards the upside is losing speed. Let me tell you one thing, guys. Oftentimes, when you have a big moves towards the upside, you'll see the price. Stay, in some kind of pattern, some kind of consolidation pattern at the top. Now, the big problem up here is that a lot of people are very, very, high on hopium that it's just gonna break towards upside and continue towards upside. And this can actually happen. This is very likely continuation scenario that it just bounces and continues towards upside. Unfortunately, oftentimes, the longer these consolidation phases take, the longer it waits to pump towards upside, the less chances actually for it to happen. Why is that so? I don't know, but that's my experience. And when I see these kind of moves, even though this is exhaustion move, this is not a bull flag. A bull flag goes something like this towards downside over here, and then continues towards upside. This over here is what we call exhaustion flag, because price explode towards upside, and right now it is being exhausted in an uptrend over here, and I think it needs a pullback. Now, in a very, very strong trends, this exhaustion pattern up here can continue towards the upside, and often it does. Unfortunately, this time around, I don't think that's the case. And I'm going to show you that there is already right now indications that we are losing steam, and this is gonna drop below this support level at 20 moving average over here. It's gonna drop below this channel up here, and the big question after that is where are we going down. So let me show you why and where do I see these weaknesses in the chart. Now, but first, yesterday came the first weakness. This is the 4-hourly bearish engulfing candle up here. So we had a bearish engulfing candle towards downside. Now the bad thing about this bearish engulfing candle towards downside, let me just see here, did we hold the support? We actually held above the support, which is actually quite good. So we are technically still above the support, but you can see even here that this support over here is corresponding nicely to the 20 moving average and the channel as well. So everything can actually break at the same point over here. But this was actually the first no sign for me that tells me that something is not going as it's supposed to go. And you can see here that we actually closed below the 20 moving average. The move towards the upside, tried to get it back up here again, failed that, created a lower low. We had a lower high. We create a lower high over here, and you can see here, up here we have been having higher highs. So the trend is changing right over here right now. So we're getting a lower high after this bearish engulfing candle, failing to get it back above the resistance. Is again back below the 10 moving average, and right now whatever this over here is, we still got 3 hours and 22 minutes on the 4-hourly candle, but it does look very, very weak. The other thing that's happening on the chart, is that we are having this. Let me go to the 1-hourly so you can see this better. The other thing we are having on the chart right now is this curvature over here. You can see how it's, the price is curving. When we came up here, we had this curvature that went towards upside, which is actually a bullish curvature. But this curve right now that's happening right now, it's actually a bearish curve because it is, showing weakness in the price, and it's curving towards downside. So not only do we have these 4-hourly bearish engulfing candles and failing to get above the resistance, breaking the support and so forth. You can also see here on the 1-hourly time frame that we are holding the 50 moving average just barely. but we are also having this curvature up here. This has been going for a while. This is going towards the upside. Now right now everything tells me this is definitely gonna break on the downside. So I think the probability right now is pretty high for us to break this channel towards the downside. If that happens, the big question is where is the support. Of course, the you know, the major support level down here is on the around 20.7, because that's where we started, you know, getting these supports, you know, kicking in here after the big move towards the upside. But if we do go towards the downside, I'm looking at this 50 moving average, and the 50 moving average, or this on the 4-hour time frame, will slowly continue going towards the upside. I don't think we're gonna drop, you know, straight down some kind of 20k down here, but we can definitely, you know, slowly go up here, you know, something like that, you know, wait for a moving average and then continue towards the upside. This is gonna be a very major level, you know, to look for, this 50 moving average. Once we start hitting that, do we get a support? Can we climb more up towards the upside, and so forth. But right now in the short term, I think this is more than likely to break on the downside. Believe it or not, I think it's more than likely a break on the downside. Now, of course, again, we are on the support over here. We are on the support, and even though we have a, you know, bearish engulfing candle, even though we are breaking the 10 moving average, even though we have this curvature, even though we have, you know, the channel going towards the upside, this can again, of course, for whatever reason, break towards the upside up here and continue towards the upside. Depends on how bullish we are. But of course, again, technical analysis, probabilities, up down, right? I think the probability right now is towards the downside. So all I want to say with this movie is with this video is that I think that right now probability is a lot higher towards downside than towards you know, any kind of pump towards the upside. So, you know, be careful about that. But when that said, any kind of move towards downside, you can see also here, you know, 200 moving average, 10 moving average coming up here. Any kind of move down here, you know, these are the way I see it, because we already broke certain very, you know, macro or trends right now, and the way I see it, any kind of pullbacks and stuff like that, those are the, you know, buying levels for more moves towards the upside. So until something gets invalidated, some kind of, you know, major resistance support levels gets broken, you know, major trend lines get broken, nothing is right now telling us that, you know, this move is over. And it although it on the daily time frame looks like this was parabolic move up here, its finish is going to go down to, you know, 15 whatever k. You know, you're just gonna zoom out a little bit up here to see that, you know, it can take a little while before we continue going towards the upside. But first move, I think it's on you know, towards the downside. Quick video, just tell you what I think about charts. Besides that, I can tell you that I did a, you know, Solana short yesterday on the charts over here, and it kind of, you know, got messed me up. Sorry about a lot of lines, but let me just remove, you know, the support lines are, you know, magical. You can see, I mean, you see that, we know where the support lines are. We know where the support lines are, right? So let's just remove these support lines over here, and my short entry was up here. Let me go to even small time frames, because it's a lot easier to understand where I entered the short. I actually entered the short on this week towards upside. I was already seeing the thing is, Solana had this triangle over here, and it started going up here. Where was it? It started going you know, up here, and every time it went up here, it went above all of the moving averages and stuff like that. But this last move up here, it kind of didn't go that high towards the upside, towards the resistance, and it also kind of immediately got failed. So the way I saw this move over here in this bigger triangle is that, you know, the moving average is already rejecting it, and then on this week up here, I actually shorted the Solana. Now, the problem was that, you know, it went nice and everything, and down here, you know, there was a lot of profits, and I was assuming this can actually pull back, but not actually all the way up to the my entry point. And you can see up here, I put a, you know, stop loss at the entry point, and I got it stopped out right over there and got out. So I bought here, I got stopped out over here, but, you know, it was on the line. And after that, it, you know, it played out towards downside, because the same thing on Solana, just like on Bitcoin. The reason I'm telling you about Solana right now is it's having this curvature over here. You can see how the price, it's curving curving towards the downside. And even though this was a triangle, some kind of, you know, move towards the upside, people were saying, oh, this is a consolidation in a, you know, bullish consolidation, bull flag, whatever. You gotta look at these patterns, right? These patterns, and this pattern over here, you can see up here, it's a curvature pattern towards the downside. It's a bearish pattern. It was already getting rejected. It was more unlikely to break to the downside. It did play out. I need to play, you know, work more on my, you know, stop loss, where I put my stop loss and stuff like that, but, you know, there is that. And when it comes to Solana right now, it did break this support down here as well. Over here, there is some kind of resistance up here right now getting retested over there. It still looks weak. So if Bitcoin does drop on the downside over here from these levels, if Bitcoin does drop downside from these levels up here, I think everything will have a pullback. And everybody has been, you know, asking for a pullback for a long time right now. Oh, please pull back so I can buy back in. So, you know, maybe you're gonna get that, but I'm gonna tell you also that a lot of people that want the pullback, once the pullback happens, they're gonna be too scared to buy. Guys, thanks for watching. You know what to do with the link. Bye-bye.